Sometimes first impressions are important, and when handing in documents, having a nicely structured document with headings and subheadings, cover pages, page numbers, these things can all add to the professional look and feel of this document. And it makes it easier for people who are reading it to see the things, that you've been talking about, the way that you've broken it down into sections and made it easier to navigate, find your way around, and so on. So I'm briefly going to show you how you can create cover pages, tables of contents, and put some page numbers in your document. So you can see I've got this nice document here. I've already used the editor. I've gone through, I've checked all my spelling and all my grammar, and it's all looking pretty decent. But there's no real explanation of the different sections. But there seems to be some headings here and there that could be useful maybe to break it down. So the first thing I can do is maybe just make this a little bit bigger and potentially make it bold. I can see now that I've got a nice heading on my document. Okay, now this first section is all about being online. It's a kind of introduction, if you like. So what I could do here maybe is just call this section introduction. Now I don't want it the same size, etc., as this one because it's a subheading. Now Word has some built-in heading styles, and you'll find those on the Home tab, and they're all kind of hiding away in this section. If we use this little arrow here, we can see all of them, and you can see there are various heading styles. Some of these are already made. They're called heading 1, heading 2. So I'm going to go with heading 2. Now, if I scroll down a little bit here, this is where we start to actually talk about government guidance, the importance of e-safety. So I'm going to break this down as well into a heading. So this next section is all about government guidance. So all I've got to do now is highlight this and apply heading 2 again. What should you do? Well, that's clearly a heading by itself. So that's heading 2. Information and resources to help you. I can turn that into a subheading as well. So all my headings are now in place. It's a bit easier to understand. It's a bit more structured. This document's only got one page, so adding page numbers is perhaps, not all that useful. But if you have a document that spans over several pages, what you might want to do is insert and then look for page number. And you can put that at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page. And there are some ready-made ones here, and you can just kind of pick the one you like the look of. Okay, so if you like this, I quite like this one because it tells me it's page 1 of a number of pages, so I know I'm dealing with a 5-page document. So if I print this off, I know then if there's a page missing, it will tell me it's page 1 of 5. If I've only got 3 pages, I know there's a couple of pages missing somewhere. It puts you immediately into the footer. You can, if you want to, just use the tools just to make the text a bit smaller and so on. And then all you have to do is click outside of the footer. If you double click back into that document, or if you go into the header and footer, there is an option here to close the header and footer, okay? And then it just grays it out. So, we're not working in that section of the document anymore. So if I wanted to make this look a little bit tidier, I could go insert and put a cover page on it. It gives me a few here that I can choose from ready-made, or if you go to more cover pages, there are a few different ones here as well. Okay, so if I pick that one, you can see it immediately puts a nice cover page on there. It's got my name on it. I can put today's date. I can put the name of my course here, so it might be level 3 IT, for example. I can give the document a title, so this particular one was about e-safety. I can give it a subtitle, so it might be part of assignment 2, for example. All of these images can be changed out, but immediately you can see it begins to look a little bit more professional than just handing in some text. Now, the last thing I can do, because I've used heading styles, I can now create a nice table of contents just here so people know where all these subsections are and what page they happen to be on. Okay, so I don't want to include this heading in my table of contents. And I also don't want any other, strange things appearing in my table of contents. So I've used these heading styles that we looked at earlier on, this heading 2. But I haven't applied heading 2 to this. That's because when it creates this table of contents here, it will look for all of these heading 2 styles and create the table of contents based on those. So all I have to do now is go up to references, look for table of contents, and there are some automatic ones here. And you can see it will put heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. There's different ones. You can customize it yourself. But if you just pick this one, it will create automatically a table of contents. It will steal all of these heading styles and drop them into your table of contents. And then it will tell us down the side here what page that's on. Now, you can do this at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of creating this document. And if at any time you decide you want to go in and add another one, for example, here, you might want at the bottom here to put a list of the sources where you got all your information from. And then again, all we need to do is ensure that we are using the same heading style, heading 2. We go back up to the top, we update the table, update the entire table, click OK, and you can see it's just dropped the sources in there now, which it's now telling us is on page 2. So the document immediately looks better. It's got some nice headings, it's got some subheadings, it's got a table of contents, it's got some page numbers. It just immediately looks like a better quality document.